I was walking to work and I was thinking, all right, how are we going to adapt?
In the company's history, and we're 90 years old, and we're talking about this goes through the world wars, this goes through 9/11 effect of travel, this goes through the depression and recession, and our company has lost more revenue in this 1 year than all those combined.
I remember the first day in March, the first week in March, and a regular customer that normally shops every day, yeah? That person bought like 3 times their quantity. We talk, so it was like, are you having family coming to town? Well, I'm just trying to stock up because I might have to, go in and go inside and I might not be able to come out. I live by myself. And I was like, why would you do that? She's like, coronavirus. We saw images of Wuhan. People were falling over, the hospitals were jam-packed, they had body bags in the street. And I'm saying to myself, how soon before it's here?
I was watching the news and I saw that there was an Asian American lady at a subway who was getting harassed. And this was early on before anybody thought anything was serious. The thought of COVID and the pandemic was a small thought. It wasn't like, oh, get ready for the world to end and for us to have the hotel business go crazy.
We were so busy with our business. We had just moved locations 6 months earlier. So my head was so focused on just the business that I didn't even really know there was a pandemic until like late February when we had some clients that were saying, what are you going to start implementing in the gym as some safeguards and stuff? And I hadn't even thought about it. I was just like, I'm just worried about giving you a great training session.
March 17th, I believe we had one session and one person showed up because everyone else just realized, oh boy. That's when I first realized that it was really serious.
And I remember coming to work the next morning on a Monday and having an emergency conference call with my boss and a bunch of executives and a bunch of GMs. And that's when everything started. This is coming, here's what's happening, it's starting to become real. Start thinking about how we're gonna cut costs for the year because we're not sure what to expect.
Rolling Grocers history came out of a healthy food initiative. Really what they were looking at is figuring out how to combat this food desert, food apartheid situation that's been happening all over the country. We have a tiered pricing system. Nothing is in concrete. So if you start up with us and you're green and a week later you come in and you need to be blue, no questions. You just simply tell us at the register, hey, I'm blue, but I need to change to green, or vice versa, and you're done. We did that with a conscious effort to provide food to everyone, no matter the income level, no matter your demographic, no matter your race, or if you're trans, or whatever it is, you should be able to get good, wholesome, nutritious, organic food.
I was very nervous early on, very nervous because it was the unknown. Where do we fall, right? Because the hotel business, are we essential? Are we not essential? There was so much new verbiage and so many words and emails and documents and laws and, you watch certain governors on TV talk and different things. There was so much new information out there. So many people were living here, right? They didn't know where to go. So if we close the doors, where are they gonna go, right? Fortunately here, we never closed. We were considered an essential business.
We didn't even have the word essential yet. Everyone else around us was closing during COVID, and we could have closed when we were small. When you have a grocery store, you have a local watering hole. It's not just about food, right? It's about also our resources. It's also about access. It's about knowledge. I would say I know more than 200 of our customers, maybe more. I know them by name. I know their families. I know their preferences. I know the things that they ask for. We had these families in our heads, in our minds, in our hearts. And we knew that they shopped with us like completely. There were people that didn't move because we showed up. So to show up for them was important.
People who live high stress lives, and I'm talking stress because they have menial jobs, they're barely covering their rent, they may have to move, the home that they live in is terrible, they're overcrowded, their kids' schools stink. Like, that's very hard to be healthy in that kind of environment. Structural inequality, structural racism, all those structural problems are the core of the well-being for everyone.
I was feeling nervous at that time when things were shut down because of the industry that we're in, because of what they were saying COVID was like and how it would spread. And at that time, we had a really beautiful gym that we just moved to, but there was no windows. We just had one door that we opened. So thinking about people coming in and wearing masks and the population that we work with, who some people, have issues breathing on their own. We knew it was going to take a lot longer for gyms to come back as opposed to other things. So I had a feeling that this was going to be devastating to us. I worked so hard to build my life where I have choices, right? And now this choice of where I wanted to go was taken away. Personally, I was so traumatized by what had happened and what we went through and how hard we worked that I really just wanted to walk away from it all.
Identity is such a huge part of the careers that we choose. I have definitely heard people verbalize that several times, that they feel useless is a word that's coming up a lot, or they don't feel like they're contributing in a positive way. That can be really detrimental for individuals who attach themselves to their career in terms of identity, which I would say most of us do. These are individuals who their self-esteem is really impacted.
I love when things goes right. Like, I try to perfect, like whatever is not perfect, I try to make it. We never do it perfect, but we try at least. I work everywhere. I'm the utility guy. I have to work in the front, in the back, washing dishes, cooking, everything. Like today, the girl in the front that's supposed to be here is off. That's why I'm covering here.
I had to temporarily lay off about 15 of my associates in the same day. All right, so that was the worst day of my career. So I had to sit down with 15 people back to back, one-on-one, and just let them know, here's the state of the business, here's what's going on. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that we can bring you back in a few months. We're going to keep you on the books. Marriott's still going to pay your benefits. We're still going to do all the things we can do as a company. But unfortunately, I just had no work. I can't afford to have people at the hotel.
I give everyone a week of work. Everybody got something. They got kids, and they have to support their family. And I know what it is because I got family too.
We were about to go into our busy season of the year. During those months, previous year, in 2019, we ran somewhere between 85 and 95% occupancy for each month throughout that time, which is very high in this business, especially in this location, right? We went from that to quickly dropping to the 20 to 30% range. Revenue-wise, you're talking millions of dollars. Yeah, talking millions of dollars in a matter of 3 or 4 months. In the company's history, and we're 90 years old, and we're talking about this goes through the world wars, this goes through 9/11, effect of travel, this goes through the depression and recession, and our company has lost more revenue in this 1 year than all those combined.
I could not have predicted what COVID would have been for Rolling Grocer and our staff and our families and our customers. I mean, we tried to do no GMO, no high fructose corn syrup. We try to do things that are septic safe and environmentally friendly. When you're trying to do that in the face of everyone else, just trying to grab whatever they can, where people aren't looking at price anymore, it becomes real. Like, we have a strict code of how we buy things, and we have to really throw that out the window and figure out just how to get things to our customers.
Having a lack of access to money definitely impacts people's health. We've known that for a long time. It's access to care, it's access to healthy food. There can be food markets, but then the access to fresh fruits and vegetables in those markets are limited sometimes. And they are also sometimes quite expensive.
We had even committed to an idea of loss and theft. If someone decided they had to steal food and we saw them stealing food, we wouldn't confront them, we wouldn't address it, we would just keep it, we would just act as if it wasn't happening. If we see someone taking something, they obviously need it, and so we just won't address it. We'll just support the families as much as we can.
There was a major boom in the interest in the bicycle. People wanted to be outside where the air was fresh, you know, where they could be socially distant and still have something fun to do. That kind of really launched the new interest in cycling. We did about 12 months worth of business in 4 months. I am extremely grateful that we were able to keep our business open because it was very scary when they first started talking about shutdowns. I didn't know if we were going to be forced to shut down or not. Because it was terrifying because, you know, when you have, you know, tens of thousands of dollars worth of inventory that you have to pay for, and if it was, I didn't know if it was just going to sit here and collect dust and then what. At the same time that was happening for us, our peers in the business community were really, really hurting.
I think when we realized that things were going to be permanently closed was after the first month. Life sucks. I am stressed out. I lost my business. We had to move, lost my community. My kids are in different places, but I felt strong enough to handle it. This has given me the opportunity to actually really look and see how I wanted to live my life. Yes, my business was taken away from me. Yes, that community was taken away from me in that sense, but I can build another community. I can build another business. And to be honest, my business is going to be more in the online world since I've been connecting with so many people that way. It won't exactly be what I had, but I think it will be better where I can reach other women like me who I want to work with.
New business models will emerge from this that might stick. I can't say for certain that things will ever be exactly the same again. Kind of speaking from a broader point of view, I mean, so many people discovered the outdoors, and we helped them discover that. Even though we didn't really get to know a lot of these people, and some of them I don't even know what they look like because they had a mask on, right? We know that we were having a positive impact on people's lives.
Samantha and I always were like about the business. You know, what do we have to do to maintain the business, maintain what we have to do to stay, to keep it going and be successful. But for the first time, we actually were like, it's about us. You know, we had to make sure we took care of each other. I'm grateful for Samantha because, you know, we were able to push through a very intense part of our lives.
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, we all get annoyed with people, right? Like, that guy drives like a jerk, you know, all these people in the grocery store, blah, 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 blah. But then when people are removed from your life, you really, really miss people.
What I'm seeing, a lot of people, they start to value their families. And that's, I think, the best thing we can get from this pandemic. It's hard. That's why now, any free time I got, I spend it with my kids. Sometimes I used to get a drink or something, not anymore. Especially with my kids, it's things that they do that I didn't realize that they know because I've been working all the time. So now I know more about them and they know more about me.
I think for people who were so busy making money and just being out there working, once all that stopped, to see what's left was jarring for some people. There was no one for some people. And that speaks loud because that means you invested in the wrong thing.
Human connection is our most fundamental need that we have. We always think that we have other basic needs like food and shelter and water, just a hug or a handshake. The things that we used to not think that much of are becoming more and more important, or people are realizing that it's so important. I think that's one of the things I'm most grateful for.
I hate wearing a stupid mask. I hate it. It's uncomfortable. It makes my face sweat. It's like, I hate it. But, you know, I do it because it's, you know, it's my contract with society to help, you know, move us forward. I don't care where you're coming from. You know, we're all headed to the same place. So we need to cooperate. And hopefully everyone will. I want things to be the way they were. I think everybody does.